Hello, you're welcome to Power Apps ABC with Kenechukwu. And today I'll be walking us through the basis of Power Apps, of building Power Apps application. Before I proceed, have you ever wished you could build your own app without being a programmer? Have you ever wished or imagined you could build your own business application without being a programmer? That's exactly what Microsoft Power Apps lets you do. So in this video, I will walk you through the basis of Power Apps step by step so that even if you've never touched it before, you'll be able to build an application with it. So before we proceed, what is Power Apps? What you're seeing on my screen is the portal. Once you type make.powerapps.com, it brings you to this page. So what is Power Apps? Power Apps is a tool from Microsoft. It's a tool from Microsoft that help us to create app quickly without writing a lot of code. You can connect it to your data source like Excel, SharePoint, and even to your own data source. I hope we get that. It's a tool from Microsoft that enables us to build our business application or an application without writing a lot of code. So the next question will be, how do you get started with Power Apps? To start using Power Apps, you just need a work or school account. So that's the basic thing you need to start building up with Power Apps. You need a work or school account. If you don't have any, you don't need to panic. You just have to join the Microsoft M365 developer plan and get a free developer account. Once you're logged in, then you head over to make.powerapps.com. I'm showing it here. I want to show it. Once you just click make.powerapps.com, it takes you to this homepage. That's what I entered and it brought me to here. So once you're here at make.powerapps.com, you'll be provided with different options. You will see start with Copilot, start with data. For instance, you have a list already and you want to create your app from the list. If you want to start with a Figma design with a design, or you want to create from blank. So just like I mentioned, Power Apps help you to create app without writing a lot of code. So we'll be seeing that capability in this session. So we'll be starting with data. And I said you can connect to Excel, which you're familiar with already. You can also connect to SharePoint. You can also connect to your SQL, and you can also connect to Dataverse. So we'll be connecting to SharePoint in this session. To start with data, you just click on start with data. Remember, starting with data, that means you already have your list set up. So I already have a list which is called leave request test. So I'll just click on this create new table or start from SharePoint list. I already have a SharePoint list created, or you can select an existing table if you want. If you already have a table in Dataverse, or you can connect to an external data source. All right, so we already have a SharePoint list created. So I'll just click on this, and it take me to a page where I would get to select. All right, you can, if you have an Excel list, if you have an Excel table, you can use an Excel. If you want to start from blank, you can start from blank. If you want to use SharePoint, you can click on SharePoint. So I'm using SharePoint because I already have a list created in SharePoint. So the next thing is just to it will spin off some sites for you. The URL, you select your URL and also the list. So it's loading. It will load up some sites. So you will select the site where those list is being saved. So once that is selected, the next thing is, okay, I have a site called Buy Me. I will select it. Then the second place is giving you to select the list. So I have a list called, this is the list we'll be using. It's a leave request list. So I'll just click on import. So once I click on import, the next thing is it will build an application. You can see so far we've not write any single line of code, but by clicking on start with data, we're able to get to this point. I'll just start and save and open, and once you click on save and open, it will spin up an application for you. So just like I mentioned from the start, even without knowing anything about Power Apps, you can build an application by just clicking buttons. All right, so while we wait for this thing to come up, you can see our application is getting ready. We've not written any line of traditional code, but we can see our application is getting ready. All right, it is loading. It is loading, and while it is loading, by my right, you can see the property pane where you can set the width, the height, the margin, and all right, you can see our application is ready. You can see without writing a code, we have an application. So the next thing is let's get to play this and see. You can see it is. You can see how it is. It is zoomed out. So to set this, there's a property called scale to fit. So I'll just turn this, remove this from preview mode, then go to setting. You click on these three dots, or you go to settings, then you go to display. There's a property called scale to fit. Now you can see it is off. Scale the app to fit the available space. Turning this off allow your screen and control to fill the available space. So that's why we are getting that experience. If I turn it on, you would see and go back, you will see it is now looking. Yeah, you can see how it is looking. Now, we've not written any code, any piece of code, but we can see our application is ready based on the list or the data we provided. Now you can see this is a leave request. You can update this if you want to change this, but let's see. If you want to create a new leave request, you can click on this new and you can enter employee name. Let's say Godwin, for instance. Say God, you can type in the employee name Godwin. You can select your end dates. You can also the leave type, vacation. You can impute the manager. What's it called? You can say Felix. Then the reason for going for leave, you can impute it again. Then the status is pending. Then the start date also, you can select your start date. You can choose today as then title, let's say leave. So once you're done with this, you can submit. So you see, it has submitted already. So if you want to view what you've created, you can click on this. It will open Godwin. If you want to view this, Alex, it will open Alex. Then the reason why you're going for leave, the status of your leave is, if you want to edit, you can click on this button and you will edit it and you will submit. If you want to cancel, you cancel. And if you want to delete, you can delete. It gives you a pop-up, are you sure you want to delete this record? If you say yes, it will delete. If you don't want to, you cancel. You can see without writing any code, we've been able to create a leave request by the use of Power Apps. So if I remove this from preview mode, you can see, if you click on this, the property pane, you can see the property pane where it shows the fill. Fill is the background color of your control. This is the background image. Currently we have none and all that. So if you select, for instance, you select this, you will see the property. If you want to, this is the text. If you want to update it, you can update it. Then the font size, if you want to increase the font size, for instance, if you change it to 20, you will, or let's say 30, you will see how big. Let's preview. You can preview your app by clicking Alt, this Alt key, or you just click on this play button. You can see how big it is. If you want to reduce it, you click on that. You can reduce the font size. If you want to reduce it, you click on the control and you reduce it from 30. If you want to make it bold, you can make it bold from here. You can say bold. You can see how it is bold. If you want to align it to the center, you can see. If you want to align it to the, if I scroll up, if you want to align it to the end, justify to the end, align to the right, you can see. If you want to align it to start, you can see. If you want to increase your auto height, overflow, and all that, maximum height, flexible height, you can turn it on. So these are the property pane of your canvas. Then this middle part is the canvas where you do your design and everything. Then your left, your tree view, where you can see all the screens you're working. This is the app. Then this is the screen. Currently we just have a screen for this. everything is happening in a screen. Then if you click on this data, you can see the data that you're being connected to. This is the data we are connected to currently. If you want to add the data, you just click on this. If it is Excel, you will type in Excel and it will bring out an Excel connector. If it is SharePoint, you type in SharePoint. You can see SharePoint has come up. So you just add it. That way you just add it. Then the next thing is this tree view. This tree view shows you all the screens you're actually working with. Then this one is variable. If there's a variable in your application or collection, it will show all the collection. Then if you want to add an image to your or media to your application, you click on this media. It will allow you to import. Currently there is none. You just click on upload and it would you can now add. Once you click on this, so you see by clicking of that, we can now add our image or media to our application. You can see how easy it is. An image has been added. So if you want to add more, you do the same thing, add media, and more will be added. All right, so if you want to add media, you do that. By your top here is the formula bar, the FX formula, where you can add your formulas like Excel. You want to add a formula, you can do that. You want to add data, if you don't want to use this insert here. If you want to add any control, you want to add a text label, text input, your gallery, you can do that. If you want to insert, also you can still use insert to do it. So you can see without clicking or writing any code, we've been able to generate an application without doing it, without being a programmer. We've been able to do it. So the next thing is if I close this and maybe you want to add a new screen, we come here, you want to add a new screen. Take for instance, this is our application. You want to add another new screen. Maybe you want to call it your landing page. This is it. This is you can rename it. If you want to rename it, you click on it. Either you click on this and you rename. You can call it your landing screen. So this is it. So if you want to now design it, you can choose to maybe add a container. If you want a container, you can give it a width. Say you want the width to cover the entire screen. You can check for the width and you say parent.width. Also the height, you can say parent.height. If you want to cover the entire this thing, you check for the height, you make it parent.height. You make it parent.height. If you want it to balance proper, you just turn on this property here, then you go to the X and Y. You set it to 0 and it will lap proper. So you can see without writing code, we've been able to design this. You just drag and drop. So the next thing is if you want to take out the drop shadow, you come here, you check for the property drop shadow. You set it to none. You set it to none. The border radius, you can set it to none. Now, remember we added an image. If you want to add an image, for instance, you just, on this container, you can say insert. Remember to always rename your controls so that you can easily reference them. So this one, you can call it main container. Main container. This name is already used. So we can call it container main. So I'll just click it. So you want to add an image, you just click on this button or you come here, insert. If you click on this one, you type for image. Once you type image, the same way to make it to cover the entire, you look for the width of it. You go to width. Width, you say parent.width. The height, also the same thing. You go to the height, you say parent.height. So you can see with just simple command, you are already doing it. So the same thing, remember the X and Y, you just set it to 0 so that it will lap proper. So you can see, if you want the image to cover the entire screen, you can now go to the image position. You now set it to fill. When you set it to fill, you can see it has covered. Fits, it will just... So if you want to add an image, if you have an image uploaded in your device, you can just the name of the image. But if you want to upload, you can click on this upload and you come here and you look for an image that you'd want to use. So do I have anything? I'm looking for. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this image. All right, if this is what you want to use, you now set it to, we are just, remember, this is just showing us act of the possible. So we already have an application that has been created by just click of buttons. So we want to put a landing page, for instance. Since it's a leave request application, you can now add a text. If you want to add, let's say you want to add welcome to leave request. So the next thing is you say insert, you click on insert, then text label. If you want to type, if you want to write, you can drag it with your hand to this point and you can write. You can now type welcome, for instance. So you can see it's not visible. To make it visible, you increase it. Let's say we make it 25 and see. Then the width of that text label, if you can manually drag it and increase it, or you come to here and check for the width and you do it. You can type it and increase it from 3, you can say 300 to readjust. You can see currently we have welcome to, but based on the color of the image, it's not visible. So you can choose to change the color. So you come here, this is a color property. Currently it is black. Maybe you want to make it more obvious. You want to use this color. So depending on what you're designing, you want to do this, you want to use yellow, you want to use, let's use this one. So you can see welcome to. The next thing is, if you want to make it bold, you come to the font weight. This is normal, you can make it bold. Welcome to. Then you add another text label. If you don't want to, you can duplicate this. You can say copy. You can copy it, then you paste it. When you paste it, you can see it now. Then you now change this one. Welcome to let's say leave tracker. Welcome to leave tracker app. You can increase the font of this one. Maybe you want to make it to be very pronounced. You can increase it to 50. Then also you can drag this one. You can see welcome to leave tracker app. So you can see by just clicking off, you can see you can drag it up. So the next thing is we want to add a button so that once a user click on that button, it will take them to our leave test screen. So to do that, you now click on insert, then button, you type button. Once you type on button, you will see your button is added. So you can see there is a ruler by the side. So if you want the color of the button to be the same thing with this one, you can change the text of this button by just coming here, changing the text. Let's say you want to, let's call it view. Let's just name it view. So you can change it to something to suit your own use case. So view, if you want to change the view to match with the text, you can come down and check for view. This is the color of your button is white. The first one is the color, the second one is the fill. If you want it to be the same, you can see it has changed. Then if you want, when you hover on this button, you want the colors to also be visible, there's a property called the hover fill and the press fill. Hover when your mouse is on it. So you can see, you can just change the hover. You change it to this. Then when you press the button, if you want it to be the same color, you change it to this. Then the border color also, you want it to be that same color, you change it. So you can see, if you want to give it a border radius, to have a rounded edge, there's a property called the border radius. You can check it, maybe you give it a 10. And the border, if you want to set it to 1. So with this, our button is ready. So if you play this is your application. So once you click on this button, we want it to take you to that screen. So to do that, there's a function called navigate. So with that, you can So you can just copy the name of this screen. I want to copy it, Control C. So when we click on that button, it should take us to that screen. So you come here and say on this button, there's a property called on select. So on select, you want it to do something. There's a function called navigate. So when you type navigate, you see you need the name of the screen. This is the name. Let me cancel this. Then you can close it. So this, if you want to add a transition, you can just transition cover. So you can see. So when you play this, so as a user, when you come, you click on this, it takes you to this screen. So you can see by just click of button, it is doing that. So if you want a button, so if you want to, if you can also add a button. When you click on that button, it takes you back to your landing page. So you see how easy it is to build or design an application with Power Apps by just dragging and drop. You can add your control, add your buttons and all that. And if you want to now share your application, you can always remember to save. When you're working, save. We can call it, let's call it leave app. So I'll call it leave app. Then you remember to always publish. So once it is saved, you can publish. It is saving. So it has saved. I want to publish it. So once you publish, that is when the users can actually see the changes you've made. If you did not publish, those latest change you made would not be shown. So when you publish, now you want to now share it to people in your organization, or you now click on share. Once you click on share, you now add the email address of the person you want to share it with. Then you can also make the person co-owner. Once you make the person co-owner, the person can edit, share the app, but not delete or change owner of the app. So you can also manage the access here. If Godwin Honor is the owner of this application. So if I'm adding anybody, you just add, let's say Godwin. This Godwin here. So once you add the person, then either you copy this link, you just share. The person will now have access to the application. So you've seen how simple it is. By just click of button, you drag and add your components or control. So if you're getting value, if you derive value from this, please click the subscribe button, share, comment, and like. Please click and subscribe to my channel. I've discovered that I have more non-subscribers viewing my content than subscribers. So please, if you're viewing this and you've not subscribed, please subscribe. So you can see by just click of button, we've been able to just do this without writing complex code. So in the next video, I would also show us how we can make this or take this to the advanced level, and that is it. So you just built your very first app in Power Apps without writing traditional code. So just like I said, in the next video we will dive deeper into customizing our app, adding more logic, and building real business solution. So if this was helpful, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you, and do have a